just get a little slower.
Yeah.
And then if you do mind, just like hit that a couple of times because it'll take you.
Absolutely.
Throughout the day, if you need to avail yourself of the restroom at any point, or if you'd like to get something to drink, by all means, we will have another break or two as we go through the rest of our day. Right now, I'm very excited to welcome to the stage one of our recent alumna, Manal Shah, graduated in 2014 with a degree in business administration and a double concentration in marketing and sports events and tourism marketing from Montclair State University. During her time here, Manal was an active leader in the student government for 4 years, and she played a vital role in her campus community. After graduation, Manal interned with the office of someone you might be familiar with. Her name is Michelle Obama, First Lady of the United States. Very, very interesting, very cool. And she now works for a company called Coleman Worldwide that does trade shows for aerospace, defense, security, and health as an event coordinator. So it's my pleasure to welcome Manal.
How's everyone doing today? So 7 years ago, I was a freshman, majoring in chemistry, and I was scared of public speaking. I spent my freshman year studying and binge watching Netflix, taking college, the time of your life, for granted. The most adventurous thing I did was I participated in a Nerf war on my floor. I'd like to think we were really creative. We took a lounge, turned it into a war zone, formed 2 teams and had an honesty duel. If you hit 3 times, you're out. Clearly, I was young and naive, and I had no clue of the valuable resources Montclair had to offer. Before I knew it, it was my spring semester, and my schedule was filling up with required classes like Fundamentals of Speech, a class I was dreading to take. I remember thinking to myself, what's the point of this? How is this going to help me? But by the end of the semester, the class would put me on the edge of my seat and far outside my comfort zone in the best way possible. The professor did an amazing job making the class fun and relatable to the real world. Along with these classes, I started to make friends. Friends that 7 years later, I still keep in touch with. For giggles, we would wander into the student center and various other buildings to see what the organizations were giving out today. Free food, mostly. However, a majority of our nights ended up being crowded around a TV, watching some random movie. These nights got super repetitive and super boring. We blinked, and boom, freshman year was over. After a full year of chemistry, I started to question if it was the right step for me. So that summer, I interned for a company called Comsys. Comsys was a staffing company in the city. Gave me a little bit of a hint of what business would be like. It was full-time, and the best part, it was paid. As my sophomore year began, I had 2 goals in mind: find the right major and get involved. To achieve my first goal, I started to take classes in fashion and business marketing. Later that semester, I ended up coming into fashion, surprisingly. To achieve my second goal, I began to search for involvement. MSU had so many options, rep board and student government were the ones that appealed most to me. I was determined to find my best fit organization. I ended up picking Student Government Association because they were the central hub for everyone. Everyone wanted to sponsor events with them. Our student government on campus at the time had a $1.5 million budget. With this budget, we funded hundreds of organizations, hosted some of campus' biggest events, and helped make a difference in various issues. And I got to vote for all of them. I joined SGA as a legislator, where I had a voice. Once I joined, I knew what was going on campus because of the bills being passed. My schedule started to fill up with free food, free massages, I'm not kidding, and free things to do around campus that I would go to. I started to make an even closer knit group of friends. One day I was in the office and I was venting about the lack of vegetarian options on campus. So the treasurer of SGA at the time told me to stop complaining and do something about it. Go make a food committee, and so I did. As committee chair, our first meeting with the members was a serious venting session, followed by a resolution session. The next thing we did was we reached out to the food liaison, and we were like, we want to work with you, not against you, because that could be a mess. But he was so cooperative that he actually started coming to our meetings and listening to our suggestions. He told us to do a survey and see how the students felt, where they were eating instead, and what they would like to start seeing on campus. The results of the survey led us to exactly what we had thought. The next couple of months, we worked with the liaison and came up with menus that appealed to the students. Since food committee appeared, we got Guy Fieri, Sam's Place, food trucks, Dunkin' Donuts, and tons of more vegetarian and vegan options on campus. It's cool to look back and see the revolution we started. It was a noticeable difference in campus, and there was definitely a difference in me. The friends I was making had similar mindsets, changing the world one bill at a time. There were leaders on campus and in the classroom, and honestly, that gave me motivation to find my passion and leave my mark on campus. I spent that summer in India visiting family and experiencing a world of ethics, food, and people. I came back to campus that fall, rejuvenated and ready to hit the ground running. My junior year, I dove even deeper into student involvement. I was a legislator and became publicity chair of student life at Montclair, aka SLAM. I had my work cut out for me, as this was Sam's first year being known as SLAM and not programming board. My first task was to sell out homecoming tickets for Jason Derulo. This was when he was still singing his name in the songs, Jason Derulo. And the concert sold out. It was hosted in a big tent outside of Transit Dev. And the students were happy with the outcome. So that spring, we decided to go even bigger. We hosted MGLO and MSU Fest, Montclair's very own paint party, and an all-day concert. We had DJ Toro, Clinton Sparks from 92.3, Wale, Tyga, Mano, and Cartel, all on campus within 48 hours of each other. Along with finding my passion, I did some volunteer work, raised money for St. Jude's, Tricky Trays, and went to Special Friends Day, hosted by the Rec Center. That summer, I interned for Fendi and realized that fashion might not be the best choice for me. And I realized my passion lied in what I was doing all year, marketing. So pursued a degree in marketing and added on sports and men's and tourism. So this starts the start of my senior year. I was heavily involved as director of Class 2 and 3 organizations, which oversaw 50 different organizations on campus. I helped them increase members, use their budget wisely, and gave them marketing tips. Along with this, I spearheaded Winter Week, a week devoted to bringing campus back to life when it's cold, windy, and sad because it's winter. Later that spring, I applied for an internship at IMA, a nonprofit organization, where I learned how to do graphic design, plan a conference, and do rebranding tactics. I was an intern with responsibilities and part of a team. At IMA, I found my mentors that led me to the next phase of my career. That summer, I applied for an internship in the White House. After a few detailed essays, letters of recommendation from my professors, I waited months because of the governmental shutdown. I got a phone interview, and after, they asked me to fill out 40 pages of paperwork. I'm not even exaggerating. They extended me an offer. After finals, I had 2 weeks to wrap up my life and move to DC. In DC, I interned in the White House, spent 6 months there, and with the nation's leaders and interns from all over the world. I interned under the First Lady, handled correspondence, scheduling, press, and got to host a couple of the events with the First Lady. I got to meet her and several others that were in office, my favorite being Bo and Sunny, the White House pets. I loved every moment I was there. Every time I walked through the gates, I took a moment to think of how I got there and what made it happen. This was almost 2 years ago, and it was the most humbling experience ever. Currently, I'm working for a company called Coleman Worldwide. They host the U.S. Pavilion in international trade shows for aerospace, defense, oil and gas, health and security. This means we buy space at these shows and resell them to major clients like Lockheed Martin, Honeywell, Raytheon, and Boeing, for example. We provide them with conference rooms and help them meet ambassadors of these foreign countries and other key decision makers. This past June, I got to travel to Paris for work for 2 weeks. While I was there, I got to hang out with NASA astronaut Al Worden and do what I love. I got to execute events on site, assist with branding, and design lounges. My next trip will probably be to Dubai in January, which I'm really excited for. There are a few things I want to leave here today with you guys while you go make your decisions. Give wherever you go a chance. When I first moved to DC, the first month I was homesick. I missed my family, my friends, and I was constantly wondering what I was missing out on at home. Remember, finding your friends takes time. You didn't find your friends in high school overnight. You're not going to in college, but you can definitely help it along by exploring and getting involved. Surround yourself with people that you aspire to be like. Leaders, smart, motivated people. This will light a spark inside of you and help you find your passion. Find your passion. If you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life. And remember, finding passion, that takes time too. It took me 4 years. Get involved. It's never too late to do it, whether you start your freshman year or you wait until your senior year. Just make sure you do it. Pace yourself. There's plenty of things you can do, but remember, prioritizing and not procrastinating is important. Don't stop learning. Take every moment you can to learn something new. MSU is a diverse campus. Each person comes with a unique background. Take this opportunity to expand your horizon and try new things, like classes or food. Know your resources on campus. MSU has tons of them. Remember to tap into them. If you see a problem, fix it. Don't complain. Do something about it. Chances are someone else notices it too. Volunteer. Volunteering keeps you humble, connected to the roots around you. It also gives you a different spin on things, politically, socially, and economically. But to wrap things up, I came to Montclair because it was affordable, near the city, and I knew I was going to get a great education. But I left Montclair with much more. I left with a second home. I left with a sense of confidence and pride. I left with a solid core group of friends that 6 years, 7 years later, knock on wood, I still keep in touch with, even though they're all over the world. I left Montclair with a set of values I hold myself up to in the real world. And most importantly, I left my fear of public speaking behind.
Thank you very much.